everybody, Steve here again. Welcome back, and another beautiful, well, it's morning now. So I've got a meeting today right after lunch at work, and I've got a late day. So I've got up this morning, splashed some water on my face, got in the kitchen. And what I'm going to do today is make a little something for work, for the folks at work, and for me. But I'm going to continue along the lines of trying to reproduce some of Mom's classics. And a lot of the reason for this, and a lot of you have left comments. I learned the hard way over years, kind of how to cook as such as I can. And a lot of you have said, well, you know, this looks easy. I think we're going to try this and all. So that's kind of the whole idea. Is I'm going to show you kind of how I put it together and let you and show you what goes into it. See, it's not that hard, and as long as you're willing to fail and dump something in the trash and try again, you know, keep trying. So that's the whole idea here. So reproducing Mom's Texas tornado cake, and this was given to her by Alice. Not sure who Alice is. She didn't say. Alice, if you're still there, thanks. I'm going to try this. I watched the video the other night, and I saw one thing that really struck me was Bucky really enjoyed it. So, and Mom did as well. So I'm going to attempt this. I've never had this before. I've never made it. So this is the first time. And as I kind of put it together, I think the first part of this is I put the batter together. I'm going to do this all real time and show you how it is. So I'm going to flip the camera around. Let's get cracking. Okay, so first thing, I've got the oven preheating to 325. The first thing I want to do here, I've kind of got, I got a little bit of some of this stuff together, but I'm going to try to do this as much real time as I can. Cup and a half of sugar, and I've got 2 eggs. You want them beaten. Okay, so I've got myself a large bowl. I've got a smaller bowl kind of off to the side here. We'll get to that in a second. 2 eggs beaten. Just pour it on in there. Now I want to add to this is I've got a can of fruit cocktail in syrup. Okay, so I think this is Arabic right here for fruit cocktail, except you read it from right to left. Interesting enough. Fruit cocktail. I think that's what that says. So pop the top, juice and all. In it goes. Now I remember as a kid we used to get fruit cocktail when I was in elementary or daycare or elementary school. I always remember that we get a little fruit cocktail for a snack, and man, if you got one of these cherries, that was it, man. It was a winner. So I've got my new rubber spatula here, ooh, and I'm just gonna mix that together. Now you don't want to use a blender because it's gonna that would chop all the fruit up. We want to keep the fruit in there. So this is going to kind of cream this together. Okay. Make sure it's all kind of good and mixed. No, we're not done. No, we still need to keep going. All right, now I've got 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and to this I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of baking soda. 1, 2. Okay, and I've got and again, this is, like I said, I read the comments. Rather than use my hand, I'm going to use a whisk. We'll just kind of whisk this together. That's going to incorporate the baking soda in the flour, and it's also going to aerate the flour a little bit. So it's kind of the next best thing to what's that word? A grater, whisker, flour whisker, or the thing you spin. I never knew what that was growing up, but Mom always had one. So, like I said, I always thought it was a megaphone, but it's not. Okay, I'm going to whisk that together, and then I'm going to pour the flour mix into my sugar, egg, fruit cocktail mix. We're going to mix that together. And again, don't use a mixer or a blender or anything else, or a Vitamix or whatever. We're going to work this together. It's going to create a batter. Now I've also, again, I worked a little bit ahead. I got myself a 9 by 13 casserole dish, and I oiled it and lightly floured it, so it's all ready to go here. I'm going to get this all mixed in. I don't want to see any dry flour. Scrape it down good. You can see it's starting to form a batter here. Get all on the bottom there. Now, like I said, I should have listened to y'all earlier and get a rubber spatula. Man, this thing is awesome. Really gets the sides scraped down well. Look at that. I can almost put this bowl back up in the cabinet when I'm done here with this rubber spatula. Look at that. It's all clean. And really, you see that forms a nice batter. I don't see any dry flour in there. That's good. I'm going to get my casserole dish here. There it is. Make sure y'all can see that. And then I'm going to just pour this in here. There we go. And I will just spread it out nice and even here. Kind of a little awkward for me. Normally I'm do this with my left hand, but then I would put my arm in the way and you wouldn't be able to see. Get this all scraped out here. It's kind of weird. I'm left-handed. I eat left-handed, and but I throw right-handed. Dad always said he always felt a little guilty because I started showing a tendency and proclivity to throw and do things with my left hand, and he said he just didn't know how to teach a boy to throw a baseball left-handed, so he kind of had me throwing right-handed. So okay, that goes on top. There we go, nice spread out even. Now what I want to do, I've got a cup of walnuts, chopped walnuts. Okay, kind of move this over. Put this back in that first bowl, and a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And I'm going to mix this together. Let's stir this around. Now this is going to go on top of the batter. So I'm sitting at the 6-minute point now. Okay, and now I want to just kind of spread this around over top of the now you could use pecans or pecans, as we say in the South, and I feel a little guilty here being from the South not using pecans, but it's a little harder to find those over here. And I kind of gotten a taste for these walnuts. Kind of digging them. Just spread this around evenly over the top. Now there's going to be so there's the batter, there's this nut sugar, brown sugar topping, and then the last thing we're going to put on there is an icing. So while this is in the oven cooking, it's about 35 minutes or so at 325, we'll make our icing up. So in the oven it goes, and well, I'm going to put it in the oven right now. There we go. I'll show you. Here we go. In the oven you go. Ooh, already smelling that. Smelling good. All right. We'll be right back. We'll work on the icing now. Stand by. All right. So that's 35 minutes. So at this point, I'm going to start making the glaze. So I've got a stick of butter. So that's a half cup. Just put it on the stove here. Want to melt it. Melting this butter. Now to that, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of sugar, a half a cup of evaporated milk, and 1 cup of coconut flakes. Now I found these in the grocery store. They kind of come in this natural coconut chips. I think most times you can find bags of coconut like that. So that's the idea. Now I'm going to just melt this butter. I'm just simply going to add everything into it. Now, almost use my rubber spatula there. Don't want to do that. So I'm going to just melt this butter, and then I'm just going to add the sugar and the evaporated milk and bring it to a boil, and then add the coconut flakes and cook that for just a couple of minutes. It'll rehydrate that coconut oil. No, coconut oil, of course, will get all into the butter. And what we're going to do is, when we pull the cake out, let it cool a little bit, and then we'll put the glaze over top of it. That's going to kind of soak into the cake and make it all nice and even more delicious, if that's possible. So butter's getting melted. I'm going to go ahead and add my 3/4 cup of sugar. This is probably the most sugar I've used in years. I'm just not much of a baker. Just like I said, the crock pot, man, I'm all over it. Cooking meats and all stuff on the grill, things like that. So this is kind of, like I said in the beginning, this is a bit of a challenge for me doing this. So if I can do it, you can do it, believe me. Okay, I've got a 1/2 cup of evaporated milk that I'm going to add here as well to bring this to a boil. Now you can tell where I opened up the can of evaporated milk and brought it over here, because I left a trail. I've cleaned it up since, but that's where the evaporated milk goes. See the ring there? All right. Now this, like I've said before, man, this stove is, I think there's a small nuclear reactor underneath here or something, because this thing is like, I don't know, it's an induction heater? Yeah, induction. I'm like, man, that's crazy how fast it goes. Bring that to a boil, and we'll add our coconut. So that's 40 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and look at that, man, that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Ooh, steamy. Man, that smells great. Looks good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that in there for just a little bit while I'm working on this. I'll take it out and let it cool. So the butter mix here is starting to boil again. So I'm bringing it to a boil. Yeah, it's starting to, you're just starting to get the hint of heat now coming back. Days are getting longer again. It gets down probably in the upper 60s at night here. So I'm going to let this boil for just a couple of minutes. Turn the heat down now. It's going to thicken it up. See all the water steam, the steam coming off there. It kind of thickens it up a little bit. Just kind of stir it a little bit to keep it from sticking to the bottom. A couple of minutes, we're going to add the coconut. So now do read your comments, and a lot of the ideas, and in fact this little bit of series here of me kind of reproducing Mom's recipes, that was a suggestion from some viewers, you know, and I honestly, I mean, I enjoy eating what I cook. Mom was a great cook. Now, what was it like growing up with her, that kind of cook? Honestly, I mean, she worked. When after my dad left, and of course she was a single mom, she was working, and she'd work all day, and me and my sister would come home from school, and we were kind of latchkey kids, and we'd be home, and she'd come home and try to throw something together. Usually on the weekends, she tried to make something, cook something nice. Usually like Sunday after church or something, she'd cook up like Salisbury steak or something like that. But it wasn't until she met Bucky, and then she really and she, of course, she worked still, and but when they moved down to St. Matthews and Bucky took over as superintendent schools down there, and they bought the house that they were in that you've all seen. That's really when she started kind of going to town and cooking. And of course that's been a couple of minutes. Let's add the coconut now. 1 cup of coconut, kind of stir it in. And she that's kind of the beginnings. Her starting this channel was she said she just got tired of talking to me slow over the phone while I wrote down how to make banana pudding or whatever, So that's kind of what she started. So I guess I inspired her to start the channel by my ineptitude at cooking. Maybe that's what it was. So, all right now. So I've got this coconut in here. I'm just gonna kind of let it sit in here. I'm gonna turn the heat off now, and that coconut should soak up a lot of some more of that liquid, more of the liquid. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. I'm gonna take the cake out, and we'll put the glaze over the top, so stand by. All right, we're back. So just like I said, see the coconut buttery glaze. Ooh, man, that smells coconutty. That smells good. And just kind of spoon this over the top. Try to get it as even as you can. The idea here is that the butter is going to soak into the cake, kind of work its way through, and just kind of spread the chunks around here. Coconut. Cake smells amazing already. Yes. Yeah, now Mom, she liked her sweets, and she would make cakes, and of course I love that. I mean, I love everything she cooked. Always making biscuits. She wouldn't get up and make breakfast for us, because she usually had to, she would go to work, and we would go to eat a bowl of cereal and go to school, and so usually it was something fairly quick in the evening time we'd have, and we always sat down at the table and ate. It wasn't like we grabbed something and ran to our room. We always sat at the table and had dinner. And I always tried to do that in our family as well. Arlene and I really liked that. We always had dinner together, and we would either sit at the table or we'd watch, show, usually like Little House on the Prairie or something like that, or the Waltons, and we'd watch that and talk about it. It was always fun. So there it is. Look at that. Now I will cut myself a piece and try it. So I'm gonna flip the camera around, and I'll be right back again. So let it cool down a little bit, and that buttery, coconutty sauce kind of soaked down into it. Oh, it smells good. Now, I wondered if it was going to be dry, but it certainly doesn't look dry, does it? So this is my favorite part, is trying it. So smell that, and turn on the smell-o-meter now, and you can smell that. It smells coconutty and buttery. The cake's moist. I cut it, all the pieces conveniently for everybody at work. So here we go. So the fruit is all mixed in. and it's not all chopped up, so it's big chunks. So as it cooked, I think a lot of some of the liquid from the fruit came out into the cake, kind of helped keep it from being dry. Oh, there's a cherry piece. Winner. That's it. And then the butter on the top. Oh, it's good. Moist and easy. So you pretty much saw this real time, me putting all this together. So hope you enjoy it. You know what? Leave me a comment down below while you're on your way down to check out the directions and the ingredients. Hit that thumbs up for me. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And if you have any other ideas or any particular recipes of Mom's that you want me to give a shot and try, go ahead. So, and in the meantime, we'll see you next time. So Colonel saying over and out.